Hello and welcome, Lens Legends, to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. My name is Jim Landers, and it is my mission to uplift portrait photographers to make a great income doing what they love. Each week on the Portrait Profit Show, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers face so you can finally get what you deserve. You're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. From Digital Pro Lab, Amanda and her team are fantastic. They love you. They treat you like a hero so that you can look like a hero to your clients. Yep. Digital Pro Lab rocks. If you haven't worked with them already, go to digitalprolab.com and see the difference it makes to be working with Amanda and her fantastic team. And of course, my own company, Landers Photography School, where I teach photography and the business side of photography. I do spend more time on the business side now than on the photography side, but I do still teach both. But I help photographers get to what they want by defining what it is. Just like if you were going to the grocery store, you've now defined where you're going. So that means you don't wander down roads you don't need to go on in order to reach your goal. And that's what we wonderful creatives, we wonderful, amazing creatives spend the majority of our time doing is wandering down good roads because we haven't defined yet what is right. I'll help you do that. LandersPhotographySchool.com or just reach out to me direct, Jim@LandersPhotoSchool.com. You could just send a message to me via the comment section. Speaking of the comment section, I want to encourage you to use it. Let me know right now that you're watching by entering hashtag live in the comment section, hashtag live. That tells me that you're watching live. Now, of course, if you're watching this as the replay, do me a favor and enter in hashtag replay. But I also want to encourage you to hit that like button, hit that love button. I see it. I appreciate it. So whenever you hear something that you appreciate, do me a favor, hit that like button or hit that love button and let me know. And maybe I'll do more of that. I appreciate you doing that. Now, moving on to the perfect price list that we're talking about today. Sometime in the 90s, an odd question, or so I thought, came over the phone from a new prospect. He simply said, "How much is an 8x10?" He didn't start with the usual questions like, how much do you charge? Or are you available on some specific date? Or do you do some type of specific photography? No, he said, how much is an 8x10? That question caused me to pause because I'd never heard it asked before. Not as a standalone question. It made me wonder several things like, what does he want me to photograph? And was an 8x10 all he wanted? It also caused me to pause because I had more than one price for an 8x10. I charged different amounts because I did both events and portrait work. An event print has less time involved for things like retouching. So it costs less than a portrait print because it takes less time to complete it. Now I know, because I've heard this discussion with many photographers, that there's some of you thinking, but the lab charges the same. So why would the photographer charge differently? Gosh, that's an easy one. It's because you don't work for the lab. Do you wear a name tag that says Digital Pro Lab? Mine says Landers Photography. I'm not a reseller for Digital Pro Lab. They're just one of the many vendors that I outsource work to. They're incredibly important, and I think they're fantastic, but they are just a tiny fraction of what it takes to get from idea to completed print. Okay, let me see if I have a, a graphic for that so you can see what I'm talking about. There we go. The price is based on the entire creative process, not just one small part of it. And you can see that, and maybe that's a little bit small, so I'll make it bigger. Let's see, make it bigger. Maybe take that back off. There we go. I want my clients to enjoy these images from well, every day and for years to come. So I install my prints on their walls. But why would I base my prices off of a tiny fraction of what I do? Well, I wouldn't unless I didn't know any better, which is where every one of us starts, including me. At first, I did base my print prices off of what the lab charged me. That and I looked at what other photographers charged because it felt right. It felt like it was the right thing to do. Besides, an experienced photographer who I looked up to said that's how he did it. It just goes to prove that just because someone has been doing photography for a long time doesn't mean they have learned how to price for profitability. Now, my way is not the only way because there is a way to make that happen. But you've got to know a lot more than surface level stuff in order to make it work because there is no one price that fits all photographers. It doesn't exist. But there are solutions for finding the prices that will cause you to reach your goals. Over 80% of photographers have prices too low to sustain them. That means there's an 80% chance that you're one of them. Stop feeling like, oh, no, it's not me. It's those other guys. I know. I see them posting all the time. You might fall in that category too. 80% is a large number. And only a small fraction of what's left have prices that cause them to reach their goals. Hmm. That might have been a little bit intense. So I want to share a story with you, a fantasy story, to help illustrate one photographer's path to the perfect price list. Once upon a time, in a land where soft clouds painted the sky like an artist's canvas, there lived a photographer named Sarah Style. Her eyes sparkled with the passion and wonder that could only come from someone who truly loved capturing life's magical moments. With excitement and anticipation, Sarah began going through the process of creating her own portrait photography business, and she was determined to make it work. Amongst many things, she began to look into how much she should be charging for her services. Sarah knew that she needed to charge enough to cover her expenses and a bit more to make a profit. After spending hours, which turned into days, then weeks, researching expenses such as prints, frames, equipment, gas, the time and money investment of marketing, photo sessions, editing, and even researching the prices of other portrait photographers in her area, it became clear that coming up with a price list wasn't easy. Hmm. She felt alone. She even had fleeting thoughts of doubt that maybe this isn't for her. Mhm. But Sarah is a wonderful, resilient creative, full of ideas. And even though she realized that she had no idea how to create her price list, this was not going to derail her plans to make photography a career. No, she was determined. So she decided to set out on a journey to find the perfect price list. One crisp morning, Sarah laced up her well worn boots and set out on a journey, determined to find the small village governed by experienced photographers called photo sages. These guys were rumored to hold the secrets of pricing mastery. Her path wound through enchanted forest where sunbeams danced among the trees. She followed a well worn trail leading high into the mythical Lens Mist Mountains. After days of travel and nights spent sleeping under the stars, Sarah finally arrived at the peaceful village of the photo sages. Everyone was kind, happy, and welcoming. Sarah locked eyes with an elder with a warm smile who welcomed her into a quaint cottage. The sage listened intently while Sarah shared her struggles of creating a price list. As she finished, with a gentle smile, the sage shared a secret. To create the perfect price list, the old wise sage said, you must understand the value of what your time and talent are worth. And he continued by saying, but there is one thing that you must understand and do. You must be so clear in your own mind that you can effectively and confidently communicate that value to the people you want to work with. With that, the sage stood, walked to the door, and as it was opened, said, never forget what I have told you, for over time, even the best photographers forget this basic lesson. As she walked through the door, she thanked the old sage, but the door closed before she finished. She once again was alone, but now determined and excited to put this advice into practice. Enchanted by the aromatic breeze, Sarah followed her nose to the F Stop Cafe in the town square. She wanted a bite to eat and, of course, some coffee. As the steam danced above her coffee mug, Sarah enthusiastically wrote down what she had just learned, adding her thoughts and ideas. But she came to a stopping point where she couldn't see how the sage's secret translated into a price list. Hmm. With a confused look on her face, it caused someone sitting 2 tables away to ask her, is something concerning you? Sarah said that she was a new photographer on a journey to find the perfect price list. As she finished sharing the secret knowledge that she had just gained, this sage, while moving over to Sarah's table, with a grin and a sparkle in their eyes, said, once you've embraced valuing your magic, you must sprinkle in a pinch of real world personal goals and a dash of practical math. I have somewhere to be, so I'm going to make this quick. Take notes and keep up. There are 4 main pieces to the recipe of the perfect price list. Over the next few transformative moments, this sage imparted the 4 ingredients that, once combined with Sarah's clear sense of self worth, her magic, would allow her price list to come to perfect maturity. The 4 questions. What amount of money do you need to reach your life goals, your dreams? How much personal time will you reserve to regenerate your creative spirit and spend time with family and friends? Third, how many days would you like not to work so you can invest time with family, friends, to rest, to go on adventures? Number 4, how many sessions would you ideally like to photograph in a week? More isn't better. You'll spread yourself too thin. How many hours would you like to work per week? The creative often works best, unstressed. I have just enough time. Tell me your answers. With the answers to these questions, with the answers to these questions, the sage was able to tell Sarah what her annual, monthly, and weekly income goals are. Also, how much she is worth per hour for every hour she works, not just photography time. What her average sale is, and how many days she gets to invest in her photography business and days invested in other pursuits. Sarah feverishly took notes, and as she finished, looked up, and the sage was gone, alone again. But now emboldened by the collective wisdom of the sages, Sarah got back on the long road home, full of new ideas and confidence, and filled with more anticipation and excitement than she had felt in a while. During her journey back home, she crafted a price list reflecting her talents, supporting her ideal lifestyle, and she was poised to welcome a steady stream of dream clients. Sarah was ready to unveil her new price list to the world, and to her surprise and delight, clients started pouring in, slowly at first, but then, like magic, everything fell into place. Because Sarah understood that a price list, no matter whether it's perceived as a high or low prices, it makes no difference without the strong foundation of value. And now, because she could share that value clearly and with confidence, clients could see the value in her work, and they were willing to pay the prices that she had set. And ever since then, everyone who hired Sarah knows exactly what they're getting: quality photography, crafted by an expert photographer with fair prices for the value received. That same year, she became one of the most sought after portrait photographers around. Thanks to those two photo sages' advice and her own hard work, Sarah's business flourished, and she became one of the most successful portrait photographers in the land. She found herself living a storybook life filled with both professional success, earning a fantastic living doing what she loves, and personal contentment. I hope you enjoyed Sarah's story. I want you to get the foundation right, because after that your pricing will just flow, and it will always feel right because it works, and you'll never cave on your prices again. How do you feel about this so far, you guys? Feeling it? You hearing something you like? I'm seeing a couple of likes and loves, but I'd sure like to see a few more. If you've liked what you heard so far, if you haven't, well, there's more coming. We're nowhere near done. I can see several of you have made comments, so I should probably look. A whole lot of Facebook users today. A lot. Wow. So, uh, by the way, if you want to not be seen by me as a Facebook user, then you can do, and I'm going to put it up on the screen. It's going across the screen right here, right at the bottom. I use a platform called StreamYard, and it allows me to simulcast this show to a total of 8 different places. 5 are Facebook groups, 2 are YouTube channels, and 1 is a LinkedIn page. And what that does is it causes me not to be able to see all of them because there's too many, and so it brings them to me. For those who do what it says here, go to streamyard.com/Facebook. That way, it gives the StreamYard permission to give me your name. But that's up to you. You don't have to do that. You can watch this show and remain anonymous. That's fine too. And so that is what that is about. I'll take that back off. There we go. Again, if you were here at the beginning, you heard me say this, but just in case, if you're watching this show live, do me a favor, go to the comment section and enter hashtag live. Also, feel free to make any comments or ask questions in the comment section. And don't forget, hit that like or love button every time you hear something that sounds interesting to you. All right, let's get back to the perfect price list. Let me bring this up. There we go. There we go. Okay. You know, like getting on the road to get to an appointment, we start with planning not only where we want to go, but also when we want to get there. Without this base, you'll likely never create the environment necessary to bring your dreams into reality because it applies not just to the day to day things that you do, it applies even more so to your life and to your business plans. So join me in this step by step guide to a price list that's unique and causes you to reach your goals, to be able to envision them and reach them. There are many reasons that most photographers have a price list that is so low that there is no hope of being profitable. Now, I'm assuming you guys are aware of that most photographers have a price list that is so low, they don't even have the potential to make a profit. The majority of them are unaware. They don't have enough business knowledge. They haven't studied the business side enough to be aware. They're thinking, well, I have $100 more than I had yesterday because I charged $100 for that session. And if that's the only variables you're considering, then you're right. But that is not realistic. A common mistake is a combination of basing prices solely on what other photographers charge and for prints, what the lab charges you for prints. If you're one of the majority who base pricing off of what others charge, after what I'm about to share with you, you won't be making that mistake anymore. Now, I'm not saying that the prices that the lab charges doesn't matter at all because it does matter. While print costs are certainly a factor, we need, I mean, we have to account for the cost of goods sold. So yeah, it's a factor. But there's a lot of other factors that are part of cost of goods sold. That narrow approach misses the biggest expense. You, your own labor. As a business owner working in the business, you play dual roles as employer and employee. Just as you'd pay a fair wage to someone else handling all the many responsibilities, you must include yourself in the expenses and pay yourself appropriately. I mean, if you had to employ someone, wouldn't you pay them? Assume you would, gladly. Then doesn't it make sense that you should pay you? If you don't, then you are the worst boss ever, and you're doing it to yourself. You must include yourself as an expense. You must pay yourself. So let's talk about paying myself, paying me. So we need to know how much to pay ourselves. So we have to answer the question, how much are you worth? Is it based on how much you made at your most recent full-time job? Maybe you have a full-time job other than photography right now. So you may be thinking, I could leave this job if I could replace my income. Some might think to simply replace their previous job's income, but that mindset doesn't work when self employed. Unlike a regular job providing all the tools and overhead, you have to purchase everything yourself as a business owner. So let's say if you were making $75,000 annually at a job, you'll likely need your photography business to bring in 2 to 3 times that amount just to break even. And that's a generalization. It might be a lot more in your situation. If you take advantage of a private class with me, you'll know exactly. But I can give you an idea right now. Pricing is based on the amount of time you invest and the things that you want to accomplish in this life. You're going to invest time in many ways. So let's talk about what all you do that could potentially take up your time. Now, this is just a list. You may not do all of these things right now, but I still want you to have it in your mind and think about what is it that photographers do. So this could include things like marketing, and that includes social media, website updates, researching and purchasing equipment and supplies, networking with other photographers, networking with your target market, bookkeeping, phone calls, email, return emails, planning sessions, drive time, preparations for a session, the photography session itself, processing images, backing up your images, preparing images for a presentation, the selection process, prepping the images for print, post-production steps, including framing, signing, packaging your work, delivery, installation, writing thank you notes, and more. Yeah. As an employee, you deserve to get paid for every hour you work, not just the photography time. I mean, have you ever heard of a lawyer that only charged for the time they spend in the courtroom? Of course not. I want you to let your ideal life vision drive your pricing. The path to realistic pricing starts by defining your goals and dreams for your life. Your price list is simply one tool among many that help you fund and enable the life you truly want to live. You need to get a clear vision first. You know, just like Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Or if you like things to be even more simple, how about know thyself, which was the first of the moral precepts inscribed on the temple of Apollo in the ancient Greek precept of Delphi called the Delphic Maxims. A little bit of history that you may be well aware of, but then again, maybe not. I want you to discover what income level will fuel the life you want. I want you to know how much personal time you need. Once your targets are clear, you just reverse engineer the financial and pricing requirements that support them. I have seen way too many photographers get caught up endlessly tweaking their pricing and their business model without first establishing their overreaching life goals. It's like aimlessly driving without a destination in mind. You may be working hard, but you'll just wander without any meaningful direction. The destination comes first. If you don't get clear on your life vision first, your business will lack any purposeful direction. So before you get into the pricing specifics, there's a few things that I want you to do. I want you to define the life you want to live, not just your business goals, but how you envision your ideal life. Yes, business goals is a part of it, but your ideal life is where you begin. Next, describe your ideal daily experience from morning routine to family time to personal passions. Describe your ideal daily experience. Make sure that you're breaking this up into at least two categories: your ideal life day and your ideal business day. At least those two different ones. Next, I want you to set a timeline for materializing your vision, including milestones and financial targets. Of course, if you need help doing this, you know at least one person who can help you. Reach out to me in the comments or send me an email, jim@landersphotoschool.com. By the way, at the end of this, I'm going to give you a special deal on something that I actually charge a lot for, that I'm going to charge hardly anything, a really low rate, uh, just for you guys who are watching today. For now, if you haven't already, grab a pen and a notepad or journal and take time to envision your ideal life. Only once you have personally captured your life's aspirations can you develop pricing strategies purposefully designed to facilitate that desired reality. Now, a few more critical points as you begin to create your perfect price list. Don't start low, planning to raise your prices later. This is advice I hear over and over and over again. There are ways to make that work, but the majority of the ways that are tried fail. It has to be part of a plan if you're going to do it that way. Besides, if you're a low volume portrait photographer, it is not the best choice no matter what. In fact, it's one of my top 10 best ways to fail in a portrait photography business. So do not start low, planning to raise your prices later. Start with the prices that cause you to reach your goals. Again, if you're driving to the grocery store, but it's the first time you've ever done it, maybe you've moved to a new place. If you have a specific period of time that you're able to do it in, you don't have time to waste, you're going to take the quickest route there to the grocery store and return. But if you didn't define where you were going and you didn't have a timeline, then all you do is wander down any road that looks good. Guys, start with the end in mind. Next, your prices will very likely be higher than you are comfortable with, but you'll become comfortable with them quickly. Pricing is not about feeling comfortable about prices. It's about causing your life to become more comfortable because of them. Does that make sense? You don't need to be comfortable about pricing. Pricing is about becoming comfortable because of your prices. Next, you are not your target market. Please keep this in mind. You are not in your own target market. You, when it comes to photography, are a do-it-yourselfer. Do-it-yourselfers never want to spend that kind of money. You're not in your target market. So therefore, your opinion doesn't matter. You're not in your target market. You're talking to the wrong person when you're talking to you. Next, what experience do you want for your clients? Through the filter of your business's goals, your essential business statements, at least consider the 5 workspace statements. You guys have heard me say this one before. You know what? Let me bring that slide up just in case the logo causes you to remember it. There are between 14 and 18 really essential statements that you should be making about your business that really keep you in line. It's like if you've got this path to get to where you're going. If it's a road, you have signs on the road. You've got mile markers. You've got detours and construction. You've got all these signs that are there. Your path needs signs. These are your essential statements. But at the core are the 5 workspace statements, the statements that I believe should be just in your workspace where you see them and interact with them daily. Those 5 are mission statement. What's the purpose of all this? 2, value statement. What do you believe? What are your values? Number 3, vision statement. Where are you going? Number 4, ideal client description. This is your target market. And number 5, how do you want to be perceived? This is your compelling self description. What things will get you excited? What will make you proud? What, if you had it, would cause an endless supply of excitement and enthusiasm for your future? I want you to define your business processes, the ideal client experience, which is what we're going to be talking about over the next two, actually 3 weeks on the Portrait Profit Show. So this includes both the client experience and your behind the scenes processes. So prospect to client uh, prospect to client process, marketing, or as many call it, your client funnel, your client processes. Those are sales processes. Once they become a client, planning session, photography session, post production, the portrait selection, product finishing, whatever it is that you do. At every point in the client process, add in wow moments and shareable experiences. What things, big or small, can you add in that give your client the potential to feel enthusiastic about sharing their experiences with their friends? You're in control of that. All the little things add up to your ideal client becoming loyal and encouraging others to work with you. Once you have your processes clear and packed with shareable experiences, then it's time to begin brainstorming your ideal business, your ideal client experience. So that's the next section. Brainstorm your ideal client experience. And we're going to rush through this one because we're going to be spending more time on this subject over the next 3 weeks. But you start by defining what you want, both for you and for your clients. During this brainstorming session, do not critique, do not think that something is not possible, that you can't afford it, that you don't want to attempt it, because this time is to let your impressive creative mind just shine. So open it, allow it, stop critiquing yourself, at least in this brainstorming moment, and allow that creative mind of yours to shine. Get in touch with the feelings and emotions that you want your clients to have. Allow this to be your guide. Let your mind just wander. At each step of the process, what can you do to make the experience amazing? What things could you include that you're proud of, that you're excited by, that you feel everyone, meaning your target market, everyone will think? I want them to think, wow. You want them to think, wow, that's so cool. What will make you feel like bragging? Stop it. I'm not saying that you're going to brag. I just want you to have things to make you feel that way. Don't let the negative creep in during your brainstorm. How will the session go? When the photography session is over, what happens next? What do you say? What are you doing? How does your selection process go? Do you just put it online? Do you just hand them over images and there is no selection process? You do it yourself? What is your selection process? Whatever it is, it's yours. But you have to know how you want your client to feel before you actually decide what your selection process is going to be. Other wants and other needs might come into play, so write those down as well. This leads me to building the perfect price list. Unlike every other photographer out there, your prices after this show won't be based on how you feel or plucked from thin air. Your prices are about to be purposefully structured around the ideal life you want to live and the business you want to build. No more undercharging or pricing based on competitors' rates. Now that you've done the work, you've done the foundational work of clearly defining your ideal life vision and the experiences you want to create for your clients. You can create the perfect price list that will turn those aspirations into purposeful pricing structure, empowering you to both reach your life's goals and provide an incredible client experience. With a detailed vision of what that start to finish excellent client experience looks like, from the initial consultation and planning sessions to the photo session itself, through image editing, product design, delivery, you can map out all the associated costs, both money and time, and revenue targets that are necessary to make it happen profitably. If it's part of the plan, you can make it happen. For example, if your dream is to offer a high end experience with lengthy consultations, stylists on site, same day slideshow viewing, selection, same day album designing, white glove product deliveries, whatever it is that you can come up with that you find to be a luxury experience, or however the ideal experience is that you want. And I'm just throwing out a list of different things you could do. I'm not suggesting that you should in any way. Those enhanced services, will they drive up your cost? Of course. So your expenses go up, your labor needs go up, your concerns go up. Yeah. Your pricing would then need to align with being able to provide that level of elevated experience. But because you've planned it, you can make it work. But conversely, if your ideal client is more of a affordable luxury experience, then you're going to do a few less things so that it takes up less time and it costs less money. By the way, cutting time is cutting money. They're the same thing. In fact, you often cut more money when you cut time. That's one reason why mini sessions are popular. Like online planning and sales, your overhead and time demands would be lower than if you did it in person. That way, you can price yourself more competitively while still achieving your target profits. Once you've accounted for the full investment of time, energy, and resources required to deliver your specific dream client experience, you can set your prices that keep that dream profitable and sustainable. Now, I have put together a step by step spreadsheet to guide you through this process in just a few simple steps, really. By inputting your desired income level, how many weeks you want to work per year, how many sessions you want to do per week, and how many hours you want to work ideally per week, this tool will help you calculate a pricing sweet spot tailored to your specific situation. Now, I could do this for you with a private session. I'm going to quickly attempt to go over what those steps are right now. So I'm not going to go slowly enough. I'm going to be going through this kind of fast. So take notes, but also know that you can watch the recording. So just in case you don't catch it all. So, first step, write down the amount of annual income you need to bring home to reach your goal. Now, when I say bring home, that means it does not include taxes and expenses. What is the amount you want to bring home? Now, if your total is under 100,000, I'm going to want you to multiply that number by 3 to get an actual number that does include taxes and expenses. Now, let me fine tune that here in just a moment because that's a guesstimate. It's a wide range. It just causes you to make sure that you have enough to cover those things. It may be overkill. If you want to bring in between 100,000 and 250,000, then multiply by 2.5. And if your goal is to bring in over 250,000, then multiply by 2. This winds up being your gross total, including taxes and expenses. That is the first thing I want you to be aware of. I want you to know because it helps us do the math on the other things. How much do you want to bring in? And then figure out what taxes and expenses could possibly be and overestimate those. You're not going to want to not have enough for taxes and expenses. So that's why I gave you those numbers. Number two, how many weeks off would you like per year? Most people will say between 4 and 8 weeks. I think that's a good number. So subtract that number by 52, the number of weeks in a year, and that tells us how many weeks you want to work per year. Now, make sure to include things that accumulate into weeks too, because doctor's visits, time taking kids places, whatever it is that takes up time on your schedule, those things accumulate as well. I'm not talking about time off as in you've got nothing to do. Not at all. I'm talking about time that you won't be dedicating to your business for whatever reason. So I would lean towards maybe 6 or 8 weeks, if not more. Totally up to you, though. Next, how many sessions do you want to do per week? How many sessions? I mean, this is an ideal number of sessions. Saying I want to do 100 sessions, if you're a low volume photographer, no, you don't. You're a high volume photographer, that might be low. I'm catering this show to low volume portrait photographers. And so a lot of times they'll say one, two, three, four, or five. Very few have numbers that are any higher than that. But what number of sessions would you ideally like to do per week and still be able to reach your income goals? What would that number be? Write that number down. That's with the numbers we have so far, you're going to be able to tell what your average sale is that's needed to reach your income goal. You can see how these numbers work, right? Number four, how many hours would you like to work per week? Now, that's total number of hours, not just time behind the camera. Total number of hours per week. I want you to multiply that by the number of weeks you're working so we get a total number of hours. So this gives you the average you make per hour to reach your income goals. Total time, not just photography. This amount is only used as a variable to figure out how to price your services. It does not represent how much you charge per hour for photography time. Now, if you're doing any other work other than photography, like being a second shooter, okay, maybe it does apply in that instance. Let me show you what this looks like. It's really small on the screen. I know. But the 4 main sections that we just went over, and if you were to do a private session with me, would this is what you'd see. I'd share the screen. It's a Zoom call, and I'd share the screen, and we would answer those 4 questions and come up with these things. We'd come up with the amount we need to make per year, the number of weeks we're going to work, the average amount we need to be making per week, the average sale that we need to make, and how much we're worth per hour for every hour we are working. That is the next step in designing your perfect price list. This, however, is where customization takes over because what you want for your business, for what you want, what you see as ideal for what you want and for what you want for your your ideal client experience, this differs in time and money investments. Based on what you've done so far, you can do the math to find the amount you need to charge for your goals. You have enough information to be able to do that on your own. If you need specific help on creating your price list, I mentioned earlier that I was going to give you a really special deal. I'd love to be able to do it for free, but I don't have that much time available. I have the same amount of time in the day that you have, but I can reduce it by a lot. That I charge. I'm going to do a price list review for you, and we can go from scratch or we can go from where you're at. Whatever. I'm going to give you a couple of caveats to this price. I will personally help you. I'm not going to give this to someone else. I am going to be on a Zoom call with you. I will personally help you for a very reduced price of just $20. There's a catch. I mean, that's a ridiculously low price. And I say that because most people are paying 10 times that amount. 20 times that amount. Yeah, 20 times. Did my math wrong. $400, 395 is what most people pay for this. $20 just for you. I only have a certain number. So let me get to that. There are there are a handful of things that it's a catch. You have to do some things. And so the first of those things is you have to come prepared with the four numbers above that we just talked about. Those four things. I want you to know how much you need to bring in, how much time you want off, how much time you're going to work, how much you are going to be charging, and how much time you're going to put into this. That makes sense? So put that back on the screen, although that's kind of hard to see. So that first one is how much you want to bring in per year. The second one is how many weeks off would you like per year? How many sessions would you like to do per week? And how many hours ideally would you like to work? If you come prepared, now I'm going to ask you the question, so you could just throw something out and I wouldn't even know it. But that's the catch. I want you to know those things ahead of time because this session is only going to be 20 minutes long. And if you are trying to figure things out, you could spend 20 minutes figuring out just one of the things. So I want you to have those numbers already ready to go. Again, so that I can do it in a short period of time. The second thing, I ask that you share the Portrait Profit Show, Digital Pro Lab, and Landers Photography School. It could be as simple as a Facebook or Instagram post telling about the consultation with a link just for someone who's reading it to set up their own. It doesn't require much. And number three, I had to carve some space out to make this happen, and I was only able to find 20. So I've created space for 20 of you to sign up. So, in fact, let me put up on the screen. If you have a cell phone, copy that UR, go to that URL or that QR code right now. And so let me put that, let's see, this quick price list review, copy. I'm going to put that in the comments. I'm looking at some of your comments right now. Now, this doesn't go to all of them, but uh, for most it does, and so for that reason, I'm going to put it up as a banner on here as well. So just in case you don't see that in the comment section of where you're at, out of the 8 places we simulcast, 4 of them receive the comments, 4 of them don't receive the comments that I send. And so if you're on one of those, you didn't see it pop up right now. If you're on one of the ones that didn't receive it. So up on your screen right now is the web address, the URL, or just use your cell phone to photograph that QR code. Because there's only 20, please sign up right now because they're going to go fast. So take advantage of that. This is what I normally charge $395 for. So take advantage of it. All right, taking that off the screen for now because you can go back and see it if you need to. I hope you guys got it. There we go. Back to the banners. Now, we've come to the end of another episode, and so I want to give you some closing thoughts. By building the perfect price list, you've taken some of the most important steps to create a thriving, passion fueled photography career. By getting clear on your ideal life's vision and the incredible client experiences you want to create, you have laid a powerful foundation. From here, your path forward becomes clear. You now have a blueprint to develop purposeful pricing that makes your dreams achievable. No more winging it, basing your rates on what others charge. Your prices are meticulously crafted to fund the life you want to live while delivering an experience that wows your dream clients. This isn't just about numbers on a page. It's about designing a business model overflowing with the creativity, personal touches, and boundary pushing services that light you up. When you price yourself with this level of intention, your enthusiasm because it becomes contagious to everyone around you. You don't go it alone. You have the support of those around you. And if you need an expert guide to custom build your pricing plan based on your prepared homework, my personal pricing consultation is just a commitment away. I'm honored to roll up my sleeves with you. Most importantly, remember why you became a photographer in the first place, because you want to channel your passion into crafting beautiful art and memories. With your life's vision as the centerpiece, your pricing will fuel that creative fire sustainably. You've got this. As you know, you get the Portrait Profits show every Monday. And I'm going to tell you what the upcoming shows are, the next 3 upcoming shows. Let's see. Did I bring that up? There we go. The next 3 upcoming shows are going to be, let's see, 1 week from today, we have client workflow. And this is for the best client experience. We've touched on this today. We're going to go into detail on it in a week from today. I want you to brainstorm this. I want you to think about it. I want you to go into this next show knowing a little something about what I'm going to be talking about. But even if you aren't prepared for it, you're still good because you're going to create the best client experience with the tools that I present at the next Portrait Profit show. A week after that, we're already out of March. Oh, can you believe that? April 1st. Nope, not an April Fool's joke. We will be having our regularly scheduled show. This one is entitled The Entire Client Sales Process. And that word sales, actually, I don't want it to be in there. That's a mistake. The entire client process. Everything from before you talk with a client to after. What is the entire client process? What do you do? What do you say? What are the considerations? Again, these things are going to help you with doing your price list, but also in creating experience that you want your clients to have. And then on April 8th, which is the second Monday of the month, when we move it to 6:30 in the evening to do a panel discussion, we're going to do how I give my clients the best experience, meaning you get to hear 3 different photographers share what they do to give their clients. I think I'm back. That was weird. Um, I am right now just assuming that I am back online. If you are hearing me, do me a favor and tell me in the comments. My computer just shut off on its own. It's been restarted. I think I'm connected again, but I don't know that for sure. What is going on? Yeah. Uh, all right. So I think I am back online. I'm seeing some comments that look like they're brand new. Thank you guys for letting me know that I'm back online. You guys rock. I appreciate it. So I think I was discussing April 8th at 6:30, the panel discussion, how I give my clients the best experience. We'll have three photographers on to share their experiences. Now, I hope that this episode of the Portrait Profit Show has been beneficial to your growth as a professional photographer. This lesson provides ideas, steps, and structure for your portrait photography business. You have a lot of work to do making everything work. I hope you know that this is what I do. I help portrait photographers reach their goals, even when they don't know what to do yet. I love this stuff and I love to share what I enjoy. I want you to be successful in your photography business, and I am here to help. It's what I'm passionate about. I want to thank each one of you for being here today, for sacrificing whatever it is that you are doing or would have been doing to show up today. I think you rock. I think you're amazing. The efforts that you make each day to be such an amazing portrait photographer are noticed, and I appreciate them, and others appreciate them. I encourage you to like and to share the Portrait Profits Show. And of course, tune in to the next live stream a week from today at noon. Together, we help each other achieve our goals and make a difference in the world through our passion for portrait photography. For Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, my name is Jim Landers, and I'm bringing you the weekly Portrait Profits Show. Until next time, Lens Legends, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep making your mark in the world of photography. I look forward to watching you grow. Bye for now.